Well, we're back at it. I really haven't done much last night. Had a bunch of people over and yeah, didn't make a whole lot of progress. So the as far as this goes, got this hooked up again. I did do a bunch of work on this. So we have our rod ends, or ball joints you could say, into our knuckle that we machined last week. I did also machine these spacers, or I guess you could say bushings. The bushings are going to go right up in here. So let me see if I can't find a Aprilia one. I'll show you why I made a new one. These right here would be some OEM Aprilia bushings for that top shock mount. Now you can see on this one I actually drilled it out to 1/2 inch for what I wanted, but when I actually went to go put it in here, I noticed that the bushing was really 1/8 of an inch short, so my bolt would be kind of hanging in the air before it hit that rod end right there. So I figured, you know what, I'm this far in it, I might as well just make some proper ones. So now I made proper bushings that actually come flush up to the end, so that when it's tightened, that the bolt going across will be fully supported right to the end of the bushing and then right into the ball joint. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put some paint on these, otherwise they will rust, and I'll slide them up in there and then that'll be done. Right now I'm just machining this section here, so pretty much all we're gonna get done is just hopefully get this mounted today, and then next week I have some forks coming and some triple clamps, and I'm hoping by the end of next weekend that the Timbersled Kit is on the back, and we have the triple clamps, the forks, the front ski on it, the handlebars mounted, and then we can really start on the exhaust, which is the last big thing. There's just a whole bunch of small stuff after that, so it's coming along. And here I'm just machining that lower ball joint shaft. So you can see that the top one is 1/2 inch and the bottom one is 5/8, and I got to do a bunch of machining, so it won't actually be a true 5/8. That's why we went bigger on the bottom, just so it would have the same strength as the top one there. So yeah, just running it through. I think I got to take it down a little more, and then I'll get her finished up, and you can see what we're doing with it. All right, so I got this piece machined and I'm super happy with it. This is still a piece of 4000 series steel, so it's nice and strong, but that's why the bottom one was made out of 5/8. So you can see I had to put 2 flat spots on it there. I did a counter bore, and that's what's going to sit right in between there. So the other side, you can see there's like a half moon profile in there. Normally that bracket's flipped upside down, but or I'm using it in the flipped upside down position, but now I'm making this work. So this here is going to sit basically in those holes. I'll get 2 longer bolts that go through, and then that's where my ball joint's going to line up to. So that there will nicely just sit right in there, and that's why I went 5/8 in the bottom one, because by the time I did the machining I've weakened it up a little bit, but because it's 5/8 it's going to be equally as strong as the 1/2 inch version up there that's in its full 1/2 inch form. So I have to get some longer bolts for a second, and then I should be able to bolt this in there. I do need to make a nut for the bottom there, so if we kind of look up maybe from this section here, you can see that I have to go ahead and make a round nut, and I'm going to actually tap it so that that it just fits in there, and it should look really pretty. Alright, so I ran out of steel for my nut. This is that 4000 series steel. So I got a piece of stainless. We'll make it out of stainless instead, that way she don't rust over a long time either. Of course that doesn't fit, which is fine. That fits though. Done, just like that. Just got our radius gauge set, and just gonna go in here and figure out what profile is best. Looks like 0.24 is too small. there is the nut piece I machined. Now, the reason I went with one bar going across, yeah, it's a little heavier, but the nice thing is that if, let's say if one of these bolts backs off, I'm not going to lose the nut for that side. So if I'm in the bush and I get a loose bolt, the other one's going to keep it tight and hold it in position. So that's kind of why I went with the bar. So that there is pretty nice. So all I got to do is go to the hardware store for a second. I'm just going to get two longer bolts, and then I can put the whole assembly together, and we should be good to go. This aluminum piece here is a little too skinny by about 20 thou or so. So I'll take the die grinder, just clean it up, just widen it a little bit, and then it should fit like a glove. That's all we need, right there. Beautiful. And so I picked up these bolts, just you can see now they're a little longer. They're also in stainless as well, so that way they're not going to corrode. And I'm going to end up getting a lot of this stuff coated, whether it gets zinc plated or something like that, not 100% sure. So now the bolts go through, and then we'll take this little piece here, and that's going to go underneath. Alright, so that's our super strong assembly. Everything fits really nice, looks really good, and that'll be just as strong, if not stronger, than the original Timbersled design. That's, we're going to go ahead and put these bushings in there. Now, these bushings are most definitely got to get some kind of coating to keep them from rusting. Even though it's 4000 series steel, it'll rust over time. Now I'll pop these back out again once they need to get going for coating, with then that there will nicely slip right in between there, just like that. So what I'm going to do before, I need to probably lift the front of that bike up a little bit, and I'll do a rough set on it, and then I'll tighten everything up. We have the bottom in there. It's not tight yet. I got to tighten up a little bit. And the top link is in there. I got my my height roughly set, and I'll be taking this all apart again anyways. But it looks pretty good. I'll put my nut on here for a second as well. Yeah, super pleased. Go. Purelator just dropped these off on a Saturday, which is kind of weird. But these are off a 2019 KTM 450, and yeah, they're nice and light. Just the only disappointing thing is that the top looks really good, but I didn't see this in eBay. All the stone chips and shit kind of made me a little unhappy, but we'll probably get it blasted and then get it re-anodized just so it's looking all pretty. Or I won't, we'll see. But yeah, this is going to work pretty good because that's going to sit right there. I'll just take the bearings off the old setup, put them on there, and it'll might have to machine a new center tube for it, but it should be pretty straightforward. Well, that's all for this week. I didn't do a ton of work. I did order some forks and that kind of stuff, so next week will be a good week. I got like a lot of stuff coming in, and should get the front end done, maybe start working on the exhaust. Looking forward to that. So if you liked the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.